Appointment of service chiefs from among rank and file of the armed forces on the horizon as House of Representatives moves to amend Armed Forces Act. House adjourns plenary in honor of deceased member. And House of Representatives tasks CBN on getting grips of the naira as freefall continues. Now exchanging at more than 1,000 naira to a dollar, the situation has caught attention of the House of Representatives. We'll tell you more about that. Thank you for joining us on You and Your Reps on the NTA. I am Victor, as welcome. Two consolidated bills to amend the Armed Forces Act in a bid to provide for the appointment of service chiefs from among the rank and file of the armed forces have passed second reading at the House of Representatives. The bills are jointly sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and 6 other lawmakers.
Speaker, Representative Jonathan Gaza led the debate on 2 bills to amend the Armed Forces Act.
To increase the retirement age for army officers, considering the amount of investment made into them, to 65 years and 40 years having been in the service. This is the summary of the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Bill is referred to Committee on Defense.
At the Committee of the Whole, the House considered a bill for an act to establish the administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Council.
This bill tries to ensure that there will be efficient management of the criminal justice institution, speedy dispensation of justice, protection of the society from crime and protection of the rights and interests of the suspect, defendant, and the victim.
A motion to investigate alleged victimization and maltreatment of Nigerians in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, was adopted.
We urge the House to mandate the Committee on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs to invite the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman Nigerian Diaspora Commission to brief them on preventive measures taken to protect Nigerians and air travelers to Addis Ababa.
Lawmakers frowned at abuse of traffic regulations in the nation's capital.
The greatest violators of the traffic control light signals are so-called VIP vehicles, bullion vans, motorcyclists, dispatch riders, tricyclists, and taxi cab vehicles. We urge the Road Safety Commission to exercise their powers under the Federal Road Safety Commission Act 2007 and arrest and prosecute persons who run against traffic light signals and violate other road traffic regulations in the FCT.
In commemoration of the 2023 International Day of the Girl Child, the House called for deliberate investments on the future of the girl child.
We urge the Federal Ministry of Education to drastically reduce and eradicate the number of out-of-school children by ensuring compulsory free education for girls across the country in primary and secondary schools.
This is a girl child supporting Parliament, and that is impressive.
Some of the bills presented at the day's plenary include the National Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act, an amendment bill, as well as the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization Act, a repeal and enactment bill. We spoke with sponsor of the bill and member representing Ikwo, Ezza South Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State, Chinedu Oga.
Most of our law, especially in this education sector, is outdated compared to innovative ideas of our upcoming young men in this country. For example, in 10 years ago, we are not talking of entrepreneurship. We are not talking of ICT. We are not talking of cybercrime. We are not talking of so many other things, innovation of things that works to the latest technology we are using. And we know, you can bear me witness that your child now is pure innovative to the extent that he operates computer more than you. We need to amend our law to meet up to that standard. And that is why that amendment came up. So that both Western world and Nigeria education standard will be equal. It will help to stop moving our people to Western world when they were all sending their children here before now. By the time we finish second reading and the enters committee work, we call the public for their opinion. And that is all about that. To improve our yield, it will help us to give us food security we are crying of. It will help us to create job opportunity. If all people involved in agriculture are fully using mechanization in production, in cultivating, and in processing, because there are so many stages in agriculture which is useful to the mankind. So that is why we take it to make sure that the law is amended, because it's outdated. We are looking for what is innovative, what can be profitable to the country, and what can give more revenue to the nation.
The death of a serving member of the House of Representatives, Abdul Kadri Jelani Dambuga, last Wednesday morning threw the National Assembly into mourning. News of his demise following a brief illness compelled the House to adjourn plenary as a mark of respect to the deceased.
Lawmakers had arrived the hallowed chamber of the House of Representatives in high spirits for the day's plenary, only to learn of the demise of one of their colleagues, Abdul Kadri Jelani Dambuga.
It is with great sadness that we announce the death of our honorable colleague, the person of Honorable Abdul Kader Jelani Dambuga, who died at the early hours of today, 11th October 2023, after a brief illness in Abuja. He was, till his death, a member representing Issa Sabong, the Ani Federal Constituency of Sokoto State.
House members paid tribute to the departed lawmaker, whom they described as a rallying point in the legislature.
The death of Honorable Jelani Abdul Kader Dambuga is a great loss, not only to his constituency, Sokoto, but to Nigeria as a whole.
He was very healthy. Last week we all saw, and he had been very contributive in the House. And suddenly we heard of the demise.
All we can do now is pray for him, pray that God grants his family the fortitude to bear the loss.
May Allah reward him with the Jannatul Firdausi, and may his family bear the loss.
Survived by his family, late Abdul Kadri Jelani Dambuga has been buried in Sokoto according to Islamic rites.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging the Central Bank of Nigeria to urgently implement monetary policy adjustments to reclaim and stabilize the naira from its free fall against the dollar. Sequel to a motion by Representative Ismaila Haruna Dabo, the House mandated its Committee on Banking Regulation to also investigate the use of US dollars and other foreign currencies as legal tender for domestic transactions in the country.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Ismaila Haruna Dabo, in his motion, calls attention to the rising naira to dollar exchange rate, saying it is taking a toll on transactions affecting the common man and instigating speculative activities in the forex market.
As the value of the naira continues to lose value and depreciate against the dollar and other foreign currencies, foreign investors may be deterred from investing in Nigeria. This is 200 cedi, is of Ghana, is equivalent to 14,800 naira of Nigerian money.
His motion stirs a debate on measures needed to stabilize the naira.
If you want to fly some of the foreign airlines, they charge you in dollars. Mr. Speaker, it is illegal and it should be stopped.
What is putting pressure on our currency today is that we are import dependent.
We all have wars abroad. We all change naira to dollars. We are all guilty of this.
The central bank governor has been confirmed now for almost 2 weeks. We have not had a policy statement from the central bank governor
on this very, very important subject matter. If it were in a developed country that you wake up the next day and the currency shifts a little bit, somebody will leave his job.
There is nowhere in the world where the strength of a nation's currency is determined by fiat.
Majority Leader Julius Ihonwere led a debate on the resolution asking the Federal Ministry of Works to urgently reconstruct dilapidated federal highways in Edo State, which connect the South-South geopolitical zone to other parts of the country.
Whether you are coming in from the north, you can pass through Edo State, from the east, from the southwest, south-south, all go through Edo State, but there are no roads. People are spending 1 week, several weeks in those areas.
Following a motion of urgent public importance, the House urged the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to immediately take steps towards combating the strange fungi disease affecting ginger production in Kaduna State.
The fungal disease affecting ginger production in southern Kaduna has become an epidemic, which has caused the farmers to lose over 10 billion worth of ginger sales. And the disease is still rapidly destroying their crops.
20 outstanding bills from the 9th Assembly were referred to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration, including the Broadcasting Practitioners Council of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023.
Deputy Leader of the House of Representatives, Abdullah Ibrahim Halims, has added his voice to the debate on fuel subsidy removal and application of the savings thereof. Let's bring you our interview session with the Kogi legislator.
Subsidy removal is the best that has happened to this country. And it takes good thinking of a government or of a person to be able to do it. And that's what President Tinubu has done. Because the program was almost, let me put it in the raw man's language, a cheat on Nigerians. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 single persons were only benefiting from the process. The entire country was bleeding, I mean. So now that the government have removed the subsidy, a humongous amount is being saved through the process. The government, as we know, we are in a renewed hope government. And such savings are expected to be invested in agriculture, in transport, in housing, in education, other social amenities that will bring continual development to this country. Refineries, with or without removal of subsidy, it's endowed on this government that yes, refinery is going to start producing by end of the year. And we know the government of Bola Tinubu is a government that is headed by a man of his words. So we are relying on his statement. And once the president speaks, we should take that statement to the bank. By the grace of God, our refinery will start production by the end of this year. My cry was to see Ajokuta work. And why was that? Is because I know for sure once Ajokuta is in production, it is a fundamental for industrial development of this country. And secondly, it affords employment. Over 500,000 workers will be taken out of the street. And what is the consequent effect of that? Unemployment reduced, security, and a boost in the economy of the entire country. And imagine exporting those things will increase the GDP of this our country. So Ajokuta, to the best of my ability, to the best of my capacity, I was so downtrodden that while I was chairman of House Committee on Steel, it refused to go the way my heart wanted it. But I'm very sure, based on the step the present government have taken, hopefully, based on the promise, that Ajokuta will come to light.
Many may understand a debate only in the context of primary secondary school competitions, but there are regular debates in the legislature, especially during plenary. You and your reps engaged Chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, to put the subject in context.
A debate is the exchange of ideas by members of the House, the expression of their views on a particular issue. It could either be for or against. It could either be the person is talking on the side of the merits or the demerits of that bill, advantages or disadvantages. He's speaking for or against it. So that process where ideas are being generated and canvassed, that is the debate. It can be done during the second reading of a bill. It can also be done during the examination of a motion in the House. So that's what a debate is. And members are free to air their opinion on the issues at stake. But there are rules guiding it. For example, you don't go outside the subject matter that is being discussed at the moment. And you are timed such that as many people as possible will have the opportunity to contribute to that debate. And we are looking forward to a more robust time of debating motions. Because of the situation of our country today, most of our motions have been more of utility demands and needs, disasters, flood, security, infrastructure. Those are things that usually don't need a lot of argument over. They are obvious. So you will see that in the Nigerian parliament, when this comes to the floor, they are not overflowed. But when you are beginning to discuss policy issues, then you now see divergent views until we get to a consensus. That's the debate part of it.
As House committees gradually get down to work, we asked Chair of the House Committee on Reformatory Institutions, Chinedu Oga, what changes Nigerians should expect in the correctional facilities.
We're able now, by God's grace, to bring a United Nations into prison reformatory, because there is an act in the United Nations that they need to take a prison as a project. Because if really we're able to give a hope and integrate those that are involved, it will reduce crime. From analysis that we have carried out, we found out the greater crime that are being committed are being caused by those that have already went to prison, neither on awaiting trial or being convicted, because they are unable to be useful to their life. And we are looking at what we can do to reintegrate them, give them hope, by revitalizing those farm settlements that the correction services have, by revitalizing, making sure that the skills in the prisons are being taken serious, that every inmate, neither in awaiting trial or convicted, must have one skills, by making sure that education is being properly implemented, theoretical education and practical education. Practical education is those that can focus more on practically by learning so many other things. We are looking forward to partner with Smedian in the sense that all this provision of sewing machines, computer, and so many other skill tools can be provided to the inmate. And equally, we're already making move with the United States of America, in the sense that it's not every time they talk of banditry or this. Let's know what we can do, that those that are know that been excluded by the people, that have been convicted or in awaiting trial, are being given hope to retrain them and give them psychological training so that they cannot involve into such act again. Giving them a hope, what will keep them busy so that they will never have a time to think of crime again. By doing that, that is the time that will make our correction services to reduce much of congestion. And by the time we're able to make them useful, the world market will start demanding for them to do certain work for them, plastering, carpentering, POP, ICT, other things. By the time you see an inmate that is very, very busy, such person will never endure to go into crime. And I want to tell you, it's always an intelligent person involved into crime. Because crime is all about technology. Crime is about planning. Crime is about thinking. Think and plan and the strategy, how to execute it. It must be done by an intelligent person. And that is why we want that the intelligent to be useful. And I have to commend the Controller General of Prison. He have a listing here. And we have a good, committed Minister of Interior. I've paid him a courtesy call. And we are going to work hard to make sure we really reposition the correction service, what is being called reformatory.
Improving conditions in Nigeria's correctional facilities is a matter that is quite dear to many, including me. We'll see how much guidance the committee can provide going forward. That's been you and your reps. We thank you for keeping us company. I am Victor, as well. See you next time.